All right, ladies and gentlemen, for your argumentation essay, what you're really trying to do is persuade people to do or to think the way you do. So act in a certain way, think in a certain way. A lot of people choose really controversial topics for this, such as abortion, and that's okay to do, but you have to narrow your topic enough to avoid making indefensible statements. Okay, so I took a controversial topic like abortion, and I made it into an essay for you. Please note, at the beginning of my essay, I've got my name, my class, my section number, the date, and what the assignment is. All right, let's get started. Note, I used my title as a hook. Prenatal screening has its place. If you're not familiar with what prenatal screening is, you can look that up on your own, or you can just keep reading, okay? But it's not just abortion or something like argumentative essay. It's got something to do with what the assignment is going to be about. The first, or the introductory paragraph, is here for you. The abortion debate has been raging in this country since long before the historic decision upholding Roe v. Wade in 1973. Emotions run high on both sides when the topic is approached. As a pro-choice mother of a child with special needs, I find myself in the paradoxical position. On one hand, I believe abortion should remain legal. On the other, I fear our nation's movement towards eugenics is a dangerous and tragic one. Using prenatal screening to determine the future of pregnancy can be unethical and unacceptable. It can be. I didn't say always is, and I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just saying in some situations it's probably not ethical. While there are certain situations where using prenatal screening information can be useful and even life-saving, future parents should not make family planning decisions based on producing a child they perceive themselves not to want. Okay, that is my thesis. Right there. Moving on. Prenatal screening consists of blood tests. Now, all I'm doing here is explaining what prenatal screening is and what it can do in the case of Down syndrome. Okay? Then I move on to the next body paragraph about a new blood test zeroing out the disabled unborn in the 21st century. Okay? Okay, moving on. You're welcome to read all of this on your own. It's meant to be an example. If you disagree with me, that is absolutely fine, as long as you are able to support your ideas with good research. I have no problem with it. If you disagree with me and you use terrible research or just overgeneralizations, no matter what the topic, I'm not going to like it. So here's one example of MLA documentation in here. If you've got two authors, that's the way you do it. If you have three or more authors, you're going to have something that looks like that. Notice there are no commas, there's nothing that says page such and such, nothing like that. Okay? You can read this on your own. You don't need me to do that. We've got another paragraph here supporting or giving more background information about our topic and supporting my thesis, which is still that there are some situations where prenatal screening is useful, but perhaps it's unethical in most situations to use it to terminate pregnancies. Okay? And it also gives you some of the drawbacks of using only non-invasive prenatal screening. All right? Move on to one of the reasons some parents desire prenatal information is a desire to learn more about their child's condition. All right. What's good about this, right, the transition, is I'm not saying that it's bad to get prenatal information. What I'm saying is it has different purposes, just like I said in the first body paragraph. So, we have more research. Looks like I'm missing something here, like a page number. So sorry about that. I'll fix that for my final draft. And then we keep going. So I talk about in this paragraph getting more information and ways to get more information here. Each idea building on the one before. Okay. So as those ideas are building on each other, they're building coherence, and that's one of the huge things I'm grading you on this semester. So make sure you take care of that. And all of your ideas build on the one previous. Okay? If you're having trouble with that, take a look at the coherence video on YouTube that I created for you. Or write and ask questions. Put questions into your rough draft. Now, here I talk about where it might be justifiable. And here's my argument against it. However, if a child is trying to have a baby but they don't like what nature has provided, termination should not be considered ethical. Now, that's a strong statement, and it is my opinion. You do not have to agree with me. I hope by the end of my essay I've persuaded you to agree with me, but you don't have to, okay? Eugenics is a slippery slope, and if today we choose to terminate children with disabilities, what is next? Shall we terminate all males? Perhaps we should terminate all who are prone to diabetes or have learning challenges. Okay? So, that is my way of getting the audience to think. I'm asking a couple of questions, but it's not hundreds and hundreds of questions. I use this technique sparingly, okay? And it's to engage the audience. And then I go on to my own personal experience here. When our daughter was born with Down syndrome, we found a helpful and compassionate medical staff. No one chastised us for not using prenatal screening, and our family embraced our baby with warmth and love. We've gone out of our way, yada, yada, yada. This is my positive experience raising a child with special needs. And let's move on to the next paragraph. Having educational options and a realistic conversation based on up-to-date information with a highly trained genetic counselor, parents of children with congenital issues, and better-informed obstetricians and pediatricians, it's kind of a holistic approach, is a more appropriate way to make family planning decisions than the current model. Okay? Parenthood is not... Oh, here's my conclusion. Last final thought. What do I want to leave my audience with? I'm not just repeating my intro, okay? Parenthood is not for the weak of heart. If a minor life detour takes a path you didn't expect, how you deal with that new path and its associated challenges says more about who you are than you may want. There are no guarantees in this life, and having a child, any child, is an adventure. Using prenatal screening to terminate an adventure before it has begun is a decision that cannot be reversed, and you might just miss out on the adventure you were unaware you wanted to have. Okay? Please continue to remember this is my opinion, and hopefully all of the information I've used throughout my essay has helped convince you. Now this is a beautiful thing, the works cited page. Every time I have an author named in parentheses, I must list that author here. Now, I know I have missing information from this one. I need to find out where it was published, okay, the city in which it was published, but all of this can be found on easybib.com, and which is a link on our library's website. So go to the TC Library's website and find information there. Please use opposing viewpoints for research.